Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Well, let's get more now on the investigation which South Wales Police have launched into claims the Conservative Party broke the law by using a call centre in Wales to directly contact voters before the general election. I'm joined by the MP for Caerphilly, Wayne David, who received a letter from the police explaining the scale of the investigation. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Now, an investigation for which there is sufficient scale and significance that South Wales Police are unable to offer any specific timescale. What was your reaction when you received that letter explaining this to you?
Well, I was pleased that the police are taking the allegations very, very seriously, because these are indeed very serious allegations which have been made. And naturally people were concerned that the police would have a superficial investigation. That is not to be the case. They've gone into this matter in some detail to get at the truth, and that is something which I welcome.
Oh, I'd just like to say here that the Conservative Party have said that they did not break the law. But why are these allegations so serious, Mr. David?
Well, these allegations are serious because during the election campaign, the general election campaign, it's alleged that the Conservative Party employed this call centre company based in Neath in South Wales to make calls which were illegal. According to law, call centres of this kind are only able to ask objective questions, but there's clear evidence, I would suggest, that the company went far beyond that and were basically canvassing on behalf of the Conservative Party. Well, if that is the case, that is clearly illegal.
Have any of your constituents come to you to complain about this problem?
There's one constituent in particular who has made allegations via the media, and she was one of the people who was telephoned by this company, and she took a very dim view of being basically asked her politics, and was an attempt was made to persuade her to vote Conservative as she saw it. She had no objection to being telephoned and asked objectively about a whole variety of issues, but she did not like the idea that she was being telephoned by an organisation which did not declare their political affiliation, but was clearly asked misleading and leading questions. And she complained about that, understandably, and that's one of the reasons why the police are having this in-depth investigation.
Mr. David, election rules are so complicated. This is yet another investigation into a general election. Do you think that that is something that needs to be addressed here?
Well, I think it is, yes, you're right. I mean, electoral law is complicated, but I think in a democracy, people have to have confidence in the electoral process. And all parties are clearly aware of what the rules are set out in law. And it's incumbent upon every political party to follow those rules. Because if they don't, I think they're undermining the democratic process. And that's why I think it's important that the police are, as I say, having this detailed investigation, and we don't know what the result will be, but nevertheless, whatever result, I think that people will be reassured that we do live in a proper democracy which is run according to very strict, agreed democratic rules.
Okay, MP for Caerphilly, Wayne David, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Now, the Conservative Party is being investigated by police for allegedly breaking election law during the 2017 general election. South Wales Police are looking into claims the Tories misused a call centre to contact voters. Well, our chief political correspondent, John Craig, joins me now from Westminster. What do we know, John?
Well, telephone canvassing, nothing uncommon about that, happens all the time. It's fine so long as it's activists, volunteers who are not being paid. But if you pay somebody or a company, a call centre to canvass voters, that's against the law. It's illegal. The allegations here first surfaced in June when it was revealed that the Tories were using a company called Telecom Blue in South Wales, Blue Telecoms, I beg your pardon, and The call centre was in Nice, employing about 100 people, and they were targeting voters in the Tories' target seats in Wales, 10 of them. Remember, the Tories had hopes of making big gains in a lot of Labour-held seats in the election. In the end, it didn't happen. The suggestion is that they have been guilty of breaking electoral law and also data protection law. Now, the claims were made in June that these people were being paid to canvass voters. One of the constituencies targeted was Caerphilly. The MP there, Wayne David, approached the police recently to find out what was going on with their inquiries. Were they looking into it? Were they taking it seriously? Well, today, Mr. David has revealed that he has had a letter from the South Wales Police which says this: the investigation is of sufficient scale and significance that South Wales Police are unable to offer any specific timescale of events. But they add, rest assured that the officers within this department, and that is the Economic Crime Unit of South Wales Police, have the required specialist skills and expertise for this often challenging area of business and will, as with all investigations, act in a diligent and expeditious manner. Well, speaking to Sky News a short time ago this afternoon, Mr. David gave this welcome to the news from South Wales Police.
I was pleased that the police are taking the allegations very, very seriously, because these are indeed very serious allegations which have been made, and naturally people were concerned that the police would have a superficial investigation. That is not to be the case. They've gone into this matter in some detail to get at the truth, and that is something which I welcome.
So, paying canvassers to canvass voters, that's against the law. There's also the suggestion of a breach of data protection law, because the Information Commissioner's Office has also told Mr. David that they are investigating the Conservative Party in relation to breach of a regulation which says you mustn't contact people who've asked not to be called by cold calling, the telephone preference system as it's called, and where people have specifically been asked not to make marketing calls. Well, it seems that that might have been breached as well. That's being looked into as well.
John, thanks for the updates.
Now, police say they're carrying out an investigation of scale and significance into allegations first raised on this programme about the Conservative Party's use of a call centre in Wales during this year's general election. Secret footage obtained by Channel 4 News suggested the party could have breached election and data protection laws. The Information Commissioner said it was now investigating the allegations too. Ed Hauker has this report.
Neath, South Wales. It's election day and Channel 4 News is undercover inside a call centre run by a company calling itself Blue Telecoms.
Could I just ask, what are the chances of you voting for each of the following parties?
Our undercover reporter is on a 0 hours contract, one of dozens of young people working on behalf of the Conservative Party. They are making what appear to be canvassing calls on behalf of the Conservatives' candidates in 10 different seats.
I'm just calling on behalf of Ruth Davis.
I'm calling on behalf of Hazard Hughes.
Definitely voting Conservative, fantastic. Every vote is going to count and time is running out.
But paying people to promote a candidate for election is illegal. And today, South Wales Police confirmed that they're carrying out an investigation of scale and significance into whether the Conservative Party broke election law. In a letter to the Labour MP Wayne David, they couldn't offer a specific timescale for the operation, but it's being carried out by the Economic Crime Unit. And they're not the only ones taking an interest. Also today, the Information Commissioner's Office announced that they too had launched an investigation, this time for potential breaches of data protection laws. They're looking at whether the call centre broke the law by targeting voters registered with the telephone preference service.
I'd just like to ask a few questions about the general election.
It's prohibited by law to make direct marketing calls, even if it's political marketing, to these TPS numbers. The parties were even warned about this before the election. In a statement to Channel 4 News, they said,
"The Information Commissioner reminded campaigners from political parties of their obligations around direct marketing at the beginning of the election campaign. Where we find they have not followed the law, we will act. We are carrying out an investigation into the Conservative Party's marketing campaign conducted from this call centre."
The Conservative Party told us that political parties of all colours pay for market research and direct marketing calls, and that all the scripts supplied by the party for these calls are compliant with data protection and information law.